All right, let's just dive right in, shall we? Today, we are exploring a truly epic 2,000-year-old historical narrative in this explainer. It's a story of a journey so profound and demanding that it literally changed the course of the world. We're talking, of course, about the fascinating history of the journey of the Magi and their encounter with the guiding star.
I mean, think about it. Would you actually leave everything behind just to follow a star? Put yourself in the shoes of these ancient wise men for a second. Imagine witnessing a celestial event so magnificent, so completely unprecedented, that it compels you to pack up your comfortable life and embark on a dangerous, unmapped trek. It's a pretty incredible premise, isn't it?
So, let's move to our first major phase. Section 1. The Mysterious Guiding Star. Ancient Prophecies and a Brilliant Light.
Picture these dedicated scholars way out in the east, actively hunting for clues. They weren't just guessing, right? They were meticulously studying ancient writings right alongside the stars. Night after night they searched, and then bam! They noticed this mysterious, brilliantly bright star with absolutely zero record of it in their vast archives. By piecing this unique visual phenomenon together with their ancient texts, they connected the dots to prophecies speaking of a ruler who would one day come and bring hope to the world. They were absolutely convinced this star announced the birth of a great king.
The historical record actually points out that this brilliant star shone brighter than any star they had ever seen. Try to visualize the sheer magnitude of that. It was this massive wonder lighting up the night sky, a light so captivating that these wise men decided, pretty much without hesitation, to follow it wherever it led. They firmly believed the destination was going to be worth every single hardship they were about to face.
And man, there were hardships. That brings us to Section 2, a perilous desert journey, crossing thousands of miles.
To pull off a trek like this, literally crossing thousands of miles of desert, they had to gather massive amounts of supplies. We're talking an immense financial and logistical undertaking. Their route was incredibly daunting. Starting far in the east, they plunged straight into deep, unforgiving deserts, had to navigate the volatile political landscape of Jerusalem, and finally reached Bethlehem.
Day after day, they faced these absolute sensory extremes. You've got the scorching sun just relentlessly beating down on them as they cross endless sands, only for that to be replaced by freezing, bone-chilling winds the second the sun set. And then add blinding, fierce storms to the mix that threatened to halt their progress entirely. You know they must have had moments where they deeply questioned how much farther they needed to go.
So what actually kept them going? Well, hope. For the Magi, hope was found simply by looking up at that mysterious star whenever they felt totally wiped out or discouraged. This star wasn't just a GPS for them, you know? It was a vital source of emotional resilience. It guided them through every single challenge, reminding them they were part of something way bigger than themselves.
Eventually, their journey brings them back to civilization. Section 3. King Herod's Deception and the Political Maze of Jerusalem.
Right after arriving in the volatile domain of King Herod the Great, the Magi start asking this very specific, incredibly dangerous question. Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? Just imagine being an established, paranoid king in Roman-occupied Judea and hearing strangers in your city asking where the new king is. For someone who deeply feared any threat to his power, this instantly put him on edge.
Herod reacts by calling this totally secret meeting with the wise men. He's asking them exactly when the star first appeared, basically trying to gather intelligence. Then he gives them these instructions. Go and search carefully for the child. When you find him, return and tell me, so I may worship him too. On the surface, it sounds perfectly supportive, right? Like he's actively encouraging them to finish their quest.
But the reality? A stark deception. While Herod claimed he wanted to worship the newborn, his true, secret intention was to eliminate a rival to his throne. The wise men, who were, focused purely on their spiritual and scholarly quest, had absolutely no idea about this politically driven deception. Trusting his word, they just kept following the star.
And that brings us to the beautiful culmination of their trek. Section 4. Gifts for a King. Reaching Bethlehem.
Leaving the tense, dangerous atmosphere of Jerusalem behind them, the star reappeared. The historical sources tell us their hearts were filled with joy as the light moved ahead of them, guiding them squarely to where the child Jesus was staying. The moment they entered and knelt before him and his mother Mary, they knew. They knew their immense journey had been worth it. And it's wild, they didn't kneel because of military power or immediate wealth. They knelt because they fully, truly believed He was the promised king.
Then comes the part we all know. They opened their treasure chests, revealing items of profound prophetic symbolism. They presented gold, representing royalty and acknowledging him as a true king. They offered frankincense, symbolizing worship and holiness. And finally, myrrh, a very costly perfume that actually carried the deep prophetic meaning of sacrifice. By presenting these specific, immensely valuable items, they were honoring the child with deep humility.
But wait, what about Herod, waiting eagerly back in Jerusalem? In a final twist to the history we're covering in this explainer, the wise men were warned in a dream not to return to the king. Obeying without question, they bypassed Jerusalem entirely and traveled home by a completely different route. This crucial intervention not only protected the child from Herod's political ambitions, but also allowed the wise men to complete their epic journey safely.
All right, we've covered the history, the grueling journey, and the politics. Let's move to our final section, an enduring symbol and the timeless takeaway.
So, what does this incredible story mean for us today, over 2 millennia later? It really comes down to this core theme. Faith requires courage, patience, and some serious determination. The Magi were scholars who boldly stepped way out of their comfort zone. They literally followed a light in absolute darkness, trusting that it would lead them to hope. It is a powerful, timeless reminder of human resilience and belief.
And the star itself? It remains this universal symbol of guidance, of faith, and of the relentless search for truth. More than 2,000 years have passed, yet this symbol has completely endured in our collective consciousness. It continues to remind us to keep looking up, even when the path ahead seems incredibly long and dangerous. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to reflect on today. How do you find your own guiding light when navigating through the dark? Seriously, think about what gives you hope and points you toward truth in difficult times. Keep seeking that truth, and I'll see you in the next one.